Good evening, friends. Good evening, friends from all over the world. You are warmly welcome to the Southern edition of the Growth Conference. I'm very excited to be with you tonight. My name is Lydia, and I'll be your captain tonight. Just in case you're worried whether we shall land safely at our The internet is very worried that this plane is going to land safely. The internet has also realized the kind of pilot that it has on board. And anyway, we are talking about tech tonight. So I guess that probably needed to happen to stamp in our topic tonight for the Growth Conference Southern Africa. So wherever you're joining us from the world, you're warmly welcome. Now, if you have missed our last editions, the Growth Conference Southern Africa is our last edition of the Growth Conference for 2024. So if you have missed our last editions, we had the Growth Conference East Africa, we had the Growth Conference UK, we had the Growth Conference India, we had the Growth Conference West Africa. If you have missed any of those, guess what? You have not missed totally, because you can simply go and subscribe to Noella Yugo's YouTube channel. Simply go to Noella Yugo Growth Space and you'll be able to catch up with all the last editions we have had of the Growth Conference. So right now, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome our super host. You know, whenever we have the Growth Conference, we always have a super host. And we have our super host joining us all the way from Zambia. Ladies, gentlemen, friends,
Hello, good evening, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, Bileli, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am good, thanks. Pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you too.
Thank you. Ruth, how are you today?
I'm good, Susan. How are you?
I am good, thank you. Thank you so much. Are you in Cape Town?
No, I'm in Pretoria.
Oh, Pretoria, yes. Okay. Wonderful. Sure. Francis, how are you today?
I am great. I'm wonderful. Oh, Lydia's back.
Thank you.
Hey, Lydia, you're back now? Yes.
Yes,
Oh, wonderful.
The pilot is back.
Wonderful to see. Yeah. Wonderful to see you, Lydia. Can you hear me?
glad to see you, Susan.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, I can hear you well.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And Sandra, is Noella joining us today?
Noella will join us at the end after the last speaker.
Okay, wonderful. So then
She'll be
we'll
here.
just start. Okay, we'll start. I guess at 6 exactly we'll open it up to the rest.
It's already open to the audience.
Okay, wonderful. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are joining us from. I am so glad to have you here. I can only see, yeah, it's only us. Okay, we'll still wait a bit. Hello, Sandra. Just to confirm, the other participants, I mean, the people that are coming on board, they haven't yet started joining, right?
They are joining. They are
I can only
joining.
see,
Mm.
okay. Because here I can only see the 8 of us. I don't know. Maybe
Yes, let me find out from the technical team to make sure that the room is open.
yeah, sure. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I hope we all found yesterday's sessions very insightful. I think we had a great introduction. Madam Rosemary, you are welcome. Where are you joining us from?
I'm joining from Nigeria.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. We are glad to have you on board.
Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. You look forward to the conversations?
Yes.
Were
I
you there
couldn't join
yesterday as well?
I played the tape. I couldn't join yesterday, but I played the tape and it was so nice.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
joining us today. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure people will start joining at 6.
Is Lydia with us? Lydia, are you okay? Hello, Lydia.
That has happened to my computer. I don't know why this has skipped. So I'm trying to reconnect my computer, but my phone is okay. I'm connected through my phone.
Oh, okay.
But something has just disconnected on my computer. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But I'm trying to reconnect it.
Okay. Thank you. Rashida, you're welcome. I can see you. Thank you. Thank you for joining. We hope that you are well. Blessings. Thank you. You are welcome. We can see you. Please type in the chats as you join. Where are you joining us from? We want to know where you're joining us from. Thank you so much for joining in this meeting. Let's keep sending them reminders. Let's remind our friends, our colleagues, please, it's time to join. Let them come through so we can learn together. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, wonderful, Rashida from Kuwait. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. I can see Rosemary from Nigeria. Thank you, Dr. Rosemary. We are honored to have you on this platform. We'll just give it a few minutes for a few more people to join, then we can start. Yesterday's sessions were very, very good. I hope we all came out of those sessions feeling more comfortable with technology and understanding that definitely there is a change. You know, technology has changed the way that we are relating, the way that we do business, the way that we actually communicate. Yeah, technology has really turned us into a global village. We also learned how the banking sector has evolved and changed because of technology. Now you don't need to necessarily go into a bank and queue up. You actually have banking anywhere and everywhere you are. Yeah, we did learn those insights. We have also learned, that over time, more and more women are being encouraged. Thank you so much, Blessing. Sandra, I can hear an echo. I don't know where that's coming from. Yeah, so we were talking about technology, and how it has changed our lives. We also saw yesterday how the world itself is actually trying to encourage a lot of women to still be engaged in technology, in STEM, in sciences, We also looked at reasons why sometimes women shun away from these so-called very technical subjects, probably because of cultural stereotypes, gender stereotypes that are placed on the women. And we've also seen some of the strides that have been made in that aspect and how the world is now viewing, and encouraging women to really get so involved. Yeah. Thank you so much, Madam Blessings from Nigeria. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Okay, Lydia, I didn't see you. Okay, you're back.
Yes, I am.
Sure, indeed. Okay, wonderful. I'm just taking a recap on yesterday's sessions, Wow. Our guests, I hope people were here to really listen from our guests yesterday, the story of Winnie and how she has ensured that there's positivity in everything that she is doing, positive thinking, for her to be able to win, to have victories against all odds, against every limitation that she would have. And it was such a wonderful and very inspiring story. I hope we're all inspired yesterday as we were listening to her. Thank you. Thank you so much. I can see you are joining us. I can see more people have actually joined. Please tell us where you're joining us from. As you join, please. Sumaya, we have seen you have joined. Yuko, you have joined as well. You are most welcome. Please tell us where you are joining us from this evening. I am very glad to host you. My name is Susan Chibanga, hosting you from Zambia. I am so excited hosting people all the way from Kuwait, but really we're hosting you from Zambia. This is the power of technology. Thank you so much. I'm very excited and looking forward to today's sessions. Thank you. Sumaya, where are you joining us from? I can see Nayame, you have joined. You are most welcome. Please tell us where you're joining us from. Nayame sounds like a Zambian name. I hope you're joining us from Zambia. Thank you. You're most welcome.
Yes, I am Zambian.
Wonderful, wonderful. Support your local team. I have you backing me. Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Naomi. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Olu, you are most welcome. We can see you come on board. Everybody joining us, please just type in the chat where you're joining us from. You are most welcome. I'm your host this evening, Susan Chibanga, hosting you from Zambia. We have been looking forward to the Southern African chapter of the Growth Conference, talking tech, everything tech, and how women can leverage technology for their own personal growth, for their professional growth, how tech has really changed the way that we live our lives, the way that we relate, the way that we are communicating. Everything has changed because of tech, Years back, oh, thank you so much, Sumaya from Ghana. Thank you, thank you. Years back, I would have never imagined that this is what the world would look like, with the advancement in technology. We heard so much, people would say, no, there's a lot of change, there's a lot of innovation that is coming through. But I personally never envisaged that this is what it would come to. And now today we are seeing a human body literally being replicated in a robot. And things that a human body can do, robots are now doing. Wow, wow. I don't know what else will evolve, but definitely there's a lot that is going out there. And yesterday we did learn, from our sessions that you need to create your purpose, because if you don't, they will assign a purpose for you. And nobody wants to be assigned a purpose. Just being assigned a purpose. From Lagos, Nigeria. Financial inclusion. Oh, thank you so much for joining. Thank you. You are most welcome. You are most welcome. We are looking forward to learning. Mary Ajala joining us. Thank you. Martha Kuwunda Chibanda. Oh, you are most welcome. Everybody, you are welcome. Please tell us where you're joining us from. Jared Kalyondo, you have joined us. You are most welcome. Thank you for hosting us yesterday. Thank you so much for moderating. Sorry, and I know you were co-hosting because my internet was not so good. But thank you so much for moderating yesterday's session. You were great. And today, definitely, we are looking forward to learning, and being moderated by Lydia. Thank you, thank you. Just a few minutes. We don't want people to miss out. We don't want people to miss out. We want a lot more people to actually get the insights. We want to learn together. We want to grow together. It's a growth conference. We want to grow in the space of technology. We want to have all the insights and know how we can leverage technology. Olu, you're welcome. Thank you. Teresa, I see you. You're welcome. Matilda, you are most welcome. Thank you for joining this evening. Thank you so much. Please type in the chat where you're joining us from. Thank you, thank you. How can women leverage technology for their own personal development, for their career development, for their professional development? Oh, yesterday we learned a lot from Faith. You want to have personal development, also volunteer your skills. Go find somewhere where you can volunteer your skills just for your own practice. Just for your practice. You have learned something in Excel, you know how to use Excel, you cannot use it in your current job. Please go and find somewhere where you can volunteer and make sure that you are practicing and perfecting your skills. Yesterday was awesome. Yesterday was excellent. We really had a lot of insights. Thank you. Okay. We will be starting at 6:15, just 2 more minutes, then we start. Today we have a great lineup of speakers, people that will be sharing their experiences, people that will be sharing also their skills, how they became so comfortable with technology and how they are using it in their everyday. We will be learning a lot from our speakers today. Martha, you are welcome. Thank you. We are happy to have you here. Thank you so much. Hey, Lydia, are we ready today? Thank you so much to everybody. I think we can start now. So our conference continues today. Today is the second and last day. And today our moderator is none other than Lydia. She was the host for the East African Conference, and today she is moderating the Southern African Conference. I can assure you, Lydia has a lot of energy. I love her for that. I love her for that. You know, because of this platform, because of the Growth Conference, I've gotten extended networks in different countries. And Lydia is one of my extended networks. Thank you so much. As I introduce Lydia this evening, I would also like to welcome Noella. Noella, you're most welcome. I can see you, sir, Mr. Omolaye. I hope I have pronounced your name correctly. Please forgive me, sir, if I haven't, but you are most welcome. We are glad to have you here and to learn together. Please tell us where you're joining us from. So tonight, I introduce to you Lydia, our moderator for this session. Lydia is a passionpreneur. Wow. A keynote speaker and author from Uganda. Lydia Amuge is an inspiring keynote speaker, author, and CEO of the Lamarck Group. With a decade of experience providing leadership training and coaching, she equips entrepreneurs and leaders to build profitable, purpose-driven businesses. And I can tell you, she brings all her passion in everything that she does. That is the secret to the energy that she holds. Lydia's roles include chairperson of Queens Community Cooperative and a mentor with Girls for Girls. Her books, The Power of the Family Table and Profit from Your Passion, inspire individuals to lead intentionally and turn their passions into thriving ventures. Lydia's dynamic presentations empower audiences to achieve personal and professional transformation. And you can be assured that today, as she anchors this session, you would definitely grow in your passion in whatever you want to do. So this evening, please join me in giving a round of applause to our moderator, Lydia Amuge. Lydia, you are welcome. Thank you so much for moderating this session. Now over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Susan, for giving us a good start for the Growth Conference Southern Edition. I'm very excited because I've been a part of this journey since the time we began in January, and it has been amazing. To those of you who have been joining us for all the editions of the Growth Conference, right from the time we started in January, thank you so much. You have made one of the best decisions of 2024. I'm now not trying to give you some sweet words. Are you sure it's the best decision? Yes. choosing to grow is one of the best decisions you can make for yourself. So by choosing to be a part of the Growth Conference, you have chosen one of the best things for 2024. So today is not my day. Today we have a lineup of great speakers. Like Susan has already told you, we shall be having Ruth Vera, we shall be having Francis Aremo, and we shall be having Phile from Rwanda. All of these guys have something amazing for you. I'm very excited. I met them before. I have read their profiles before, and I'm confident that what they have to bring today will leave you edified, will leave you empowered to leverage from technology. Today, I had a very good problem, okay? Now, what was the good problem? One of my clients sent me a message, Lydia, I have clients from Malawi, Namibia, and Congo who want to pay me for my upcoming masterclass. However, I don't know how they can pay me. Please help me. So that was technology. She was struggling with technology. Money wants to get to her from Namibia, from Malawi, from Congo. However, because of a lack of understanding of how she could do it, she was stuck and therefore came to me today. And I told her, hey, you need to come and listen to the solutions tonight. So friends, join me to welcome our very first speaker. Ruth Vera will be joining us, is joining us from Zimbabwe. And I'm going to just ask our support team to just put up her profile so that you can know the amazing lady who is going to give us some valuable information on how we can leverage technology for entrepreneurship and economic empowerment. I'm very sure that my client who had a problem today is here with us and should be here to listen to the solution for her problem. So who is Ruth Vera? Ruth Vera is a visionary leader in marketing and business development who has harnessed the power of technology to drive growth and transformation across diverse industries, despite not having a formal tech background. I like that. So just in case you're here and saying, oh, I didn't go to technology school, come on now. Ruth Vera didn't go to technology school, but she has some valuable information for us tonight. With over 20 years of experience in digital marketing, fintech, and strategic partnerships, Ruth has successfully navigated the tech landscape by leveraging her skills in strategy, communication, and solution-focused sales. Her career journey spans pioneering roles in B2B SaaS, fintech, edtech, and nonprofit sectors. Don't worry if you don't understand those hard words. You will understand them when Ruth starts to speak. Okay, as the managing consultant at Digital Iron Africa, Ruth now advises SMEs on their digital transformation journeys. Of course, that means she has a solution for my clients too, utilizing her extensive expertise in market entry, lead generation, and innovative digital solutions. Just in case you have been struggling to get business clients, lead generation is here for you today through our guest speaker, Ruth from Zimbabwe. Her unique approach to tech is grounded in her ability to see beyond technical requirements, focusing instead on user-centric solutions and scalable growth strategies. Ruth's story is an inspiring testament to the possibilities that await non-technical professionals. Oh my God, I am so happy to be listening in because I know there are many of us who are non-technical and struggling with these problems. And she's passionate about empowering other women to seize these opportunities. An advocate for continuous learning, Ruth holds an MBA from the University of Gloucestershire. Oh my God, I am African. I was struggling to read that name. Anyway, and is a Chartered Institute of Marketing Fellow, actively mentoring women and youth to navigate their personal career and entrepreneurial development. Friends, join me to warmly welcome Ruth Vera, our very first speaker for the second day of the Southern Africa Growth Conference. Ruth, you're warmly welcome to take us through our topic today of leveraging technology for entrepreneurship and economic empowerment. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Lydia. Thank you. I wish I had as much energy as you do, and I'll try my best to measure up. Thank you so much for the kind introduction. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's an absolute honor to be here today. Thank you to to our Southern Africa host, Susan, a colleague of mine. We've known each other within this space for some years now. And also my sincere thanks to the founder of this great initiative, Noella. And I would also want to say thank you to my colleagues and fellow speakers, starting off with those that shared with us yesterday. We learned a lot, as Susan has already summarized. And here today, we're looking forward to learn more from other speakers lined up today. I'm going to be discussing with you how, as women, we can leverage technology for entrepreneurship. I'm going to share based on my own personal journey, and I'll also take the time to share other available opportunities. Hopefully time will permit me to share as much as we can so that we all learn and grow together. I'll just start off. I just wanted to touch on what was shared yesterday because it really resonates with my own personal journey. And I remember yesterday, what was shared and what came out clearly is that as women, we tend to hold back when it comes to IT, when it comes to tech. We hold back right from when we're in school in terms of choosing or learning IT in school. We hold back. We leave that to the boys. And then when we even get to taking training courses, we also hold back in terms of taking IT courses. And then it moves on to the point when we are now in organizations in terms of employment. We obviously then find out that we've got a lot less women that hold IT roles in organizations. So with that, you can obviously imagine what that means when it then comes to entrepreneurship in terms of IT businesses. It simply means we've got very few women within that space as well. And I think as what has been shared, even highlighted in terms of the summary that came from Susan and what we shared yesterday, all this has to do with our socialization as women. We are raised in such a way that IT is not for us, it's for boys. And this is what has made us to get to this story, to this position. And I'm going to share my own personal story because that was my story as well. Yes, now I'm running a company that focuses on digital solutions for organizations. But prior to that, I really shared a similar story with these challenges of being socialized as IT being complicated. I remember early on in my career, I was engaged by an organization to conduct a feasibility study for them. What they wanted was to go into the IT industry. So they engaged me on the basis that I was a marketing person. So they wanted me to conduct a research for them. And I did conduct the research. I defined the product. I did everything to get them set up. And after I'd done that, the CEO of the company then actually offered me the position to run the IT division. And of course, you can imagine what my response was. I was shocked, firstly, that you would consider me to run an IT division. So I said no to him. And he says to me, how can you say no? You're the one who's conducted the research, you defined the product, you've even identified partners, you've come up with the business plan for the organization. So you are the ideal person to run with this. But my answer to him was, no, this is IT. IT is not my favorite. I don't like IT. And indeed, I then left that organization after a few months. I refused to take up that opportunity, unfortunately. And it was all to do with my fear of IT, despite the fact that I'd already navigated this particular division for them. But I was so afraid of IT, and I said to him, no, I'll not take this opportunity. And I left that opportunity. But you know, as fate would have it, a few years later, in fact, almost 10 years later, the same organization contacted me again. And this time they said, would like you to do exactly as what you did for us the other year. But what we're looking at is we're looking at a diversification strategy. We're looking for a new market, you know, even introducing new products, and would like you to assist us with that. And again, I conducted the feasibility study for them, and guess where I led them this time? Based on my research and ongoing trends, I recommended the fintech sector for them. I was back to recommending IT again. And this time they asked me again to do the business plan and everything, but this time he came in with a different angle. He then said to me, Ruth, we don't have anyone to run that division as yet. Would you mind running this division for us on a short-term basis, maybe just 3 months? And then while we are looking for a suitable candidate. So because he said 3 months, I said, oh, maybe it's something I can try. So I accepted to run the division for 3 months. But guess what? I was there for over a year running that particular division. And so that's how my story started. That's how I entered the fintech sector and the IT sector. And I've been there for 9 years now and still going. And as you heard, I'm now running a company that focuses on offering organization comprehensive digital solutions. And there are 2 main services that we offer within that organization. The first one being digital transformation services. I'll try to define that. As Lydia said, I'll try and define that in a way that we all understand. And then the other service is digital marketing services. So we actually run a digital marketing agency. So to align to our theme for tonight, where we're looking at opportunities for women within tech, I would then like to start with zeroing in on these 2 services so that I can share with you best on my experience. So in terms of digital transformation, if you'd like a definition, we're essentially looking at automating processes for organizations. So for instance, where there's been paper-based, as an example, paper-based processes, we are now saying, how can we use technology to enhance operations and become more efficient? How can we use technology to enhance customer experience? So that's all we're looking at in terms of digital transformation. And I would like to pick an example that Susan shared earlier, like in the banking sector, where previously customers needed to walk into the branch, queue up, complete paper-based application forms, but somebody thought, how can we improve that process? And they came up with digital channels. Now you don't need to go and line up in the bank. You can just initiate an application, even at midnight from wherever you are, and submit your application. So essentially, that's what digital transformation is about. So if you are looking at going into this space, my advice would be identify an industry. When you identify that industry, try and understand their processes. Where are the gaps? Where are the bottlenecks? Where could they improve with technology? So essentially, you're looking at the processes that that particular industry goes through, and you're saying, how then do I introduce technology? And I hope from that you can see that it's not so much about technology, but it's more about understanding processes. And then you're bringing in technology to enhance the processes. So my recommendation, like I said, would be research about an industry, identify their processes, and then think about how you can introduce technology to improve. And you know, the internet is awash with so many ideas. When you've identified that particular industry, it's possible for you to then enrich your findings through what you then find on the internet, available technology to improve processes within the banking sector, within the insurance sector, whatever sector that you think you can work on. And then, as I said, the other division that we focus on or that we run is a digital marketing agency. I'm sure we all know what digital marketing is, but I mean, simply put, it's online marketing. So we are running an online marketing agency. And this is huge. The market for digital marketing services is huge because every organization requires to market their services. And how do they do that? They have to reach their customers. They have to find their customers. And we all know where our customers are right now. All of us, we have phones and we spend most of our times on our phones. In other words, we spend most of our time online. So this is why digital marketing is now so huge. And this is why it's an industry that all of us can easily go into. So in terms of digital marketing, in our case, we offer the full bouquet in terms of digital marketing services. But when you're starting up, it's possible for you to start with one service, learn that service, develop and become more efficient, and then you continue increasing. And I can share examples in terms of the service, since we are here trying to help each other so that we learn from each other and support our growth. So I'll just run through a few examples of the services under digital marketing that you can actually run. For instance, we've got email marketing. Others end up just running an email marketing agency. You know, especially for those that are targeting, for those businesses that are targeting other businesses, email is the formal way of communication. So you can actually support such organizations by running, by becoming an email marketing agency. Of course, behind all that is the tech that is used to enhance email marketing, but that is something that you can easily learn. And then we also have search engine optimization, where you are really trying to build visibility through when customers search for that particular organization. So we've got others that run purely a search engine optimization agents. And then we also have social media marketing agencies. I'm sure we all know about social media. So you can actually start your social media agents where you're running Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter campaigns for organizations. And then we also have, because we also have others that just focus on LinkedIn marketing. And this is how we actually started. Our thrust initially was to support businesses with LinkedIn marketing. So you can actually be an agency that just focuses on LinkedIn, and you can continue to add other services as you grow. Then there's also scope in terms of sales and marketing automation, where you're looking at lead generation, where essentially with lead generation, you're helping organizations to identify potential prospects and then nurturing those prospects to end up becoming customers for an organization. So you do that through technology. There is technology to support that journey. And there are a lot of lessons. I mean, there are a lot of courses that you can take that are available even for free that you can take to learn about this. Then we also have, as we all know, website design and development. You can be an agency that just focuses on website design and development, or graphic design services, or just website hosting services. So these are some of the services that you can actually offer under digital marketing. But of course, you can be adding one at a time until you become an agency that offers comprehensive services. And like I said, it's a journey. We started with LinkedIn marketing, and now we're at a stage where we are now able to offer all these services to our clients. We're going to talk about e-commerce platforms, but before we get to e-commerce platforms, I just wanted to share a bit, because what I find based on my own experience is that all this has to do with the mindset that you have. From what I shared when I spoke about digital transformation services, I hope you were able to pick that it's a question of understanding an organization's process. It's not so much about the technology. The technology then comes in as an enabler. But the first thing is to understand the organization and its process, and then saying, oh, so how can I introduce technology to make the organization more efficient? So looking at that aspect in terms of your mindset, I would like to just highlight, that when you're starting a business, because we're talking entrepreneurship here, it's always, I would quote someone, my man of God, actually, he says, success is identifying a human need and meeting that need. So the first thing is you identify the need that is there. What is society grappling with? What are the challenges that society is facing? And how can I improve? And how can I help society to improve? In this case, we are talking technology. So how can I help society to improve using technology? And I believe this is the basis for entrepreneurship, whether in technology, whether entrepreneurship in agriculture, any other industry. It's really about identifying a human need and going out to meet that human need. That's how you then become successful. So obviously, as women, what I'm saying to us is that even as we are talking right now, start reflecting what are the current challenges, what are the potential societal challenges that you can anticipate, and how can you, if you want to go within the tech sector, how can you use technology to help improve and become more efficient? So it's, like I said earlier, don't make it complicated by thinking IT first. No, don't think IT first. Don't think which technology should I introduce. First, think about the challenge, think about the problem. Then technology comes in as an enabler. Because when you think about IT first, at times you can get crippled, you can become paralyzed because you don't know so much about IT. And I'm speaking from my own position because I didn't have that IT training. And then I would like to put this into more context for you to really understand what I'm trying to say. So I'll give you an example of a few organizations that we all know globally. For instance, I'll start with Uber. If I ask you what business is Uber into, what is Uber's business? At face value, most would say they are in the transport business, right? You would say Uber is in the transport business, but is that really what Uber is about? Does Uber own any cars? If we say they are in the transport business, do they own any cars? What do they have? What Uber actually has, or what Uber is, it is an IT platform which links car owners or drivers and travelers. And that is the challenge that they identified and decided, to solve through an IT platform. In other words, they used IT as an enabler to make sure that they link car owners and travelers. So that's the mindset that we actually ought to have. You're looking at a challenge, and then you think, how can I come up with technology so that I improve this? So don't think so much about, it's not about coding or engineering. Those, yes, that will come in to support the product. But the first thing is to think about that challenge, and then you say, how am I going to solve this particular challenge through technology? So in other words, we already know Uber is the largest taxi company in the world, but they don't own any vehicles, you see. But what do they own? It's IT, it's technology. So that's how technology comes in. And they didn't need to first think of the technology, I'm sure. They just had to think. So people struggle with this. So how can we introduce technology to connect people with the technology? Then I'll also give another example, Facebook. I'm sure we're all on Facebook. And how would you define Facebook? Most would say Facebook is the world's most popular media owner. But does Facebook create content? No, we are the ones that create content. So what is Facebook giving? It's giving us a technology platform so that we connect and we share content, you see? So this is how technology is coming in. Again, I'm trying just to drive to you that don't think so much about technology. Think of the challenge and then use technology to solve that particular challenge. Look at Alibaba. They are the most valuable retailer, but they own no inventory. Look at Airbnb, the world's largest accommodation provider. They own no real estate. So this is the thinking that we ought to have, as ladies. So essentially, if you look at the examples that I've just shared about Uber, about Facebook, it's really looking at how can you grow connectedness of people, organizations, machines, based on technology that is available through the internet or mobile technology. if you want to take that route. Of course, there are other areas that you can look at. As I said, you're looking at society and you're reflecting on the challenges or the gaps that are there. And then you're now saying, so how can I introduce technology to cover this gap? So I hope with what I've shared about the other platforms, e-commerce platforms then become more clearer to you. And what I would say is we all know the e-commerce platforms that are there, Shopify, you know, they are all there. But for us as ladies now, I would say start from where we are. Look at our lifestyles as ladies, for instance. I'm just thinking, how can I introduce an e-commerce platform that address the needs of ladies? For instance, hairdressers. How can I make hairdressers connect with potential customers? How can I come up with an e-commerce platform that deals with something like that? That's how we ought to be thinking. And then you become an entrepreneur within the tech business. And then, of course, as we promised you during, based on our outline, also freelancing platforms. So freelancing platforms, Upwork, Fiverr, TopTal, they are all there. Perhaps before you actually become an entrepreneur where you've actually established a company, this is somewhere where you can go based on the skills that you already have. You can make use of these platforms and use your skills, to offer different services there. And then you build your journey to become an entrepreneur through freelancing, through these platforms as well. One would ask, but how do I get to know about digital marketing? How do I get to know about digital transformation? As an example, even how do I get to know about e-commerce? So obviously, yes, I'm not saying go and do a degree in IT, in computer science, but there are many, many platforms that offer you free courses even, where you can upskill and learn about these things. So if you just Google free digital marketing courses, there are so many free courses on email marketing. There are so many. YouTube has got a lot of them. So obviously you would need to upskill. If you say, for instance, I want to focus on running an email marketing agency, that's what you would need to do. You would need to then learn about email marketing and start so that when you start offering the services, you are also well-versed. And then I'm sure for those that were here yesterday, you were able to learn from one of our speakers that there's also a lot of funding for women in tech, for women entrepreneurs within the tech industry. So this is a great opportunity that we should not miss, because the funding is there to propel your business growth. And I would urge and encourage all of us to take advantage of this opportunity. I think I'll end here for now. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Wow, thank you so much, Vera, for that insightful presentation on how women can leverage technology. And you've started with telling us that we should try, because there is money in technology for the women, but we are also scared. So what advice would you give to women so that they can be able to take part in technological ventures and be able to, enjoy the money that is in technology? Because if you look at most technological ventures, you can count those that are run by women. You can count those that are started by women. So how can we get more women, particularly in Africa, to believe that they can actually do it? They can be the Mark Zuckerberg of Africa and bring something good to the African space.
Okay, thanks, Lydia. I think the main issue goes back to what we discussed yesterday, the mindset, the socialization. So it starts with the socialization. Our children, even as they are growing up right now, what toys are we buying for them? The girl child, what toys am I buying for my girl child? Am I saying this one must have dolls, while the boy is the one that must have tech-related, toys? So it's all that, the socialization. After the socialization, for us who are already grown up, and at this stage, it now becomes the mindset. Let's have a mindset that embraces technology. Don't see technology as a hindrance. Don't be afraid of technology. You see, I gave an example about working for fintechs. I was in marketing, but what I did beyond just being in marketing, I started learning about the technology that we're offering, to the extent that instead of just being a marketing person, I started training organizations on that particular technology. I started implementing that particular technology because I took time to learn and to embrace that technology. And then, like I said, there's growth. This is the fastest growth industry. So if you want to be a serious entrepreneur, how can you try and focus on an industry that's not growing and leave the industry that's growing? This is the growth industry. So be counted within the growth industry, you know? And then also, like I said, start by identifying the needs. It's not about the technology. Start by identifying the need, because when you are able to identify a need, that will enable you to make sure that your business is sustainable because you're addressing a need that exists. You're offering a solution to a need that actually exists. And then lastly, obviously, learn about the area that you choose to focus on. Take courses. Yeah. In summary, I would say that's what we should do as women. Thank you. Hi, Lydia. I think technology has done something to Lydia.
Thank you very much, Vera, for that insightful presentation. I like the fact that you have advised us to be open-minded. Ladies and all friends joining us, we are in the growth conference, so we must maintain a growth mindset if we are to embrace the benefits of technology. Vera, thank you so much for the insightful presentation. Please join me to thank Vera. Go to the comment section, give us some emojis just to say thank you to Vera for the insightful ideas that she has given us. And I trust that we are going out to implement, not just to leave these good ideas here. Thank you very much, Vera. We do appreciate. So next, of course, we have another amazing speaker who will be building up on the good things that Vera has shared with us, and that is none other than Francis Aremo. When I met him, you could see he was very excited and ready to give us something amazing too today. So like you can see, he's already ready and excited to give you something amazing all the way from the UK. So who is Francis Aremo? Francis Aremo is a transformational leader in SaaS and enterprise sales with over 16 years experience, overcoming challenges such as dyslexia and growing up in a low socio-economic background. Francis has achieved extraordinary
Hello? Is it just me, or we can't hear? We can't hear Lydia? Okay. Ruth, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So I can continue to introduce Francis. With over 16 years of experience in software as a service and enterprise sales, he has helped teams unlock their full potential and thrive in high-pressure environments. His people-first approach has driven over £100 million in revenue, guiding businesses through IPOs, acquisitions, and scaling business cultures where individuals feel, and scaling challenges. Whether coaching first-time managers or working with executive teams, he builds cultures where individuals feel empowered to perform at their best. A passionate advocate for diversity and inclusion, He focuses on creating opportunities for the underrepresented talent in tech and sales. Through mentorship and community building, he has inspired countless individuals to break past limits and find their voices in spaces where they have historically been excluded. If you feel that you are one of those who you know very well that you have something within you, but you are being sidelined, please, this is the right chat for you. So by blending personal experience with practical strategies, he brings a unique leadership and team transformation perspective. His commitment to fostering growth, both for individuals and businesses, is a testament to his belief in the power of lifting others as he climbs. So Francis, we are here. We are ready. Please hold us, bring us forth from that space, from that imposter syndrome. We want to come out. We feel we belong, but we still want to come out. You are most welcome, Francis. You are most welcome. Over to you.
Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. I want to start by saying, I want to say thanks Noella for inviting me and allowing me to speak today. I really do appreciate it. We spoke for 2 minutes, and in the first 2 minutes, I was like, this is my sister, we are the same. And I literally fell in love with her. So I really do appreciate her inviting me. Also, I do want to, I love Lydia's energy. I think the internet is, I don't know why the internet's hating on Lydia, but her energy is so infectious. So it's great. Thank you very much for the introduction, Susan. I really do appreciate it. And also Ruth, I wish I went first. It's hard to go after you. So we definitely need to connect after this session. But I really do appreciate it. So the question is, who am I, right? And so I've done a couple of things, and that's great. But when I think back, I'll say two things. When I was growing up, and no matter who you are, they will always ask little kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? Now, the reality for me, what I wanted to be when I grew up was rich, but you can't say that because it's not polite. So I asked my mum what job pays the most, and my mum told me doctor. So I said, okay, doctor makes sense. And she told me lawyer. I said, okay, fine, lawyer. Okay, and engineer, great. Because as you can tell, I came from a Nigerian household. Probably the same in many African cultures and many other places around the world where it's doctor, lawyer, engineer. Sometimes you get accountant, maybe. And so I looked at all of those careers, and none of them was for me. And I fell into sales, and I realized that's the career for me. Now, I realized what's made me successful. I realized all of the things that you'll call weaknesses are really things that will help you shift from where you are to where you need to be. So I'll give you an example. I'm the youngest of 3 siblings. And being the youngest, it's like everybody takes theirs and then you get the remaining. Now, what that has allowed me to be is with what I have left, I have to make something with that, ultimately. And so using the things that are seen as shortcomings as benefits. Also, when my parents said no to my other siblings, I was the one that was sent ahead, say, Francis, go and ask mum for the thing that she told me no for, right? And I learned, and I was happy to do it, because I learned, that's how I learned to be a salesperson. If you already said no, and now I had to convince you to say yes, right? And that was my first school of being that salesperson, right? The other thing is, when you're the youngest, you always have someone above you. So there's always someone else. You have to learn to honor them, but you also realize that how can I use what they have to get to where I need to get to? So I'm someone that is very much like, I know you. How can we work together to get to where we need to go, right? I feel that some of us, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit more later, but some of us have this mentality that I have to do it by myself. You do not have to do it by yourself. And I feel that's one of the things that's holding us back, is we trying to do everything by ourselves. And we make excuses. We will be happy to help everybody else. And excuse me for saying this, especially when it comes to my sisters, especially when it comes to women, we kind of feel that I will help everybody, but we're not looking for how how other people can help us. What position are they in, and how can we help? How can we leverage their position to move us forward? And as someone that's the youngest, that was kind of natural to me. Also, because I didn't come from a lot of wealth, I didn't have, never had silver spoon in my mouth. I was hungry. I was looking for ways of how to get ahead. I was looking in my work ethic is second to none. Like when we're talking about other people and what they do, my focus is how can I achieve more? Because I'm not thinking about, I have no trust fund. I have no backup. I am my backup. I am my family's backup, right? And so that drove me to do more. So all of the things that we think are shortcomings, we need to turn it around and make sure that they're benefits. I'm a big guy. I'm big. I'm 6'3". I'm a tall, big black man. You will notice me. But how do I make sure that it's a lasting impression that you will remember me for the right things? Like all of those things we have to change our mindset. The reality is this: the world is not set up to benefit us. Full stop. No matter who we are, we have to change our narrative to make sure that we get ahead, regardless of the things that are set up against us. Because many things are set up against us. Many things was created with us not in mind. And so we need to understand that up to a certain extent, up to a couple of years ago, even when they did testing of cars, the shape of the crash dummy was only male. And so it was only up to 10 years ago where they actually thought about, we should have crash dummies if a woman gets into an accident, and because of the fatalities that took place, because the world, technology hasn't been set up to really help everybody. It's focused on a small subset of people. And that's part of the reason why it's so essential for women to get into technology and to be part of those engineering decisions, because ultimately people only think about themselves. Okay, so anyway, that's a little bit about me. I'm the youngest. I came from a not so well-off background. I'm dyslexic. I'll talk about that dyslexia in a little bit. Ultimately, when it comes to presentations, I have notes, but the notes remind me of where I was. I can't read fast. So I wish I could, but it meant that I had to learn. I had to know, I had to repeat the presentation, over and over. I have to practice. And it ultimately has made me a better speaker. And it allowed me to engage with my audience on levels that I wouldn't have had if I didn't have that dyslexia. So it's about using your weaknesses, using your shortcomings, and how can you turn them around for your benefit and your promotion. So I'm gonna give you some practical tips. And so I know many people come from different backgrounds and have worked in different environments, but one of the practical tips that I have is around one-to-one meetings with your manager or with the person that you report to. And these meetings can be informal or they can be very structured. And sometimes they create situations where you can have feedback on a weekly basis, and sometimes they don't. Now, I want you to control what takes place in those meetings. And the way you do that is doing three things, or 3 or 4 things, and I'll go through it. The first thing is this: it's really important in every single one-to-one meeting that you have with your management, or any one-to-one meeting you have, or you have a structure where you start with all the accomplishments that you've done since you last spoke to them. And the way you do that is you note them down. You take a note of, here are the things that I've accomplished over this time. And it's so important for you to say it, because if you don't say it, no one else would. No one else is focused on what you're doing, all the hard work that you're doing. What I did, I want to talk about it. What I did, I was in a company and I was talking about how I wasn't working as hard as I needed to. And I was getting really, really frustrated. I'm like, I'm gonna leave. I'm doing all of this stuff. And I had a conversation with my with a friend of mine, and he said, "Why don't you tell them?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Tell them." So what I used to do, I used to work 60-hour weeks, right? And what I did was I said, I'm gonna do less hours. I was so upset. I was so frustrated by the things that they were saying. So I said, rather than working these 60-hour weeks, I'm gonna cut it back. I'm gonna do 40-hour weeks. And even because I was ready to leave, I said every single day, the last 30 minutes of the day, I'm not even gonna work. I'm just gonna write all the stuff I've done for that day and send an email to my manager. And that's what I did. Then I changed it and made it. I'll take 30 minutes to do a write-up of all the stuff that I did. And at the end of the week, I would then send a report of all the work that I did. I got promoted twice because of doing less work, but telling them all the stuff that I did. And the way I'll phrase it is like, here is the stuff that I've achieved. Here's the plans for next week. What do you think I should do in order of priority? Here's how I prioritize these agendas. What do you think it should be? Letting them have input on what you do. So when we structure these one-to-one, and it literally changed I did less work, but because I was able to report back to my company what I was doing, it gave everybody visibility. So my suggestion is this. The first thing that's really important when you hold that kind of one-to-one space, or you have that moment, sometimes official, sometimes not official, it's really important to say, here are the stuff that I've achieved. Here are the things that I've done. Here are the accomplishments, because if you don't tell them, they will never know. And then you say, here are some of the issues that I'm coming across. Here's what I suggest. This is what I'm planning to do. What do you suggest I should do with this, right? So asking for their feedback. And then you're saying, here's my plans for the following week, and here's the order of priority. Do you think I should change these priority, or can I just go ahead? And you can send that message via text message or even via email to the person that you report to give them visibility of the things that you're doing and allow them to give input. And if they don't do anything, you've given them information. Now, the great thing about this is if they don't dispute the accomplishments, because people will read it and say nothing and do nothing, and it's fine. If they don't dispute it, then at the end of the year or the end of the quarter, you can bring all the accomplishments that you've done and say, here are all the things that I've done throughout this quarter. Now, there's a way that I do it, which is, it's a bit bold. It's self-promotion. So I'll send an email, not to my boss, but to my boss's boss. And I'll say in the email, I said, here are all the accomplishments that I've been able to do because of the support that I had from my boss. And he or she has allowed me to elevate in these areas. And I believe with that leadership, we should be able to do this for the next quarter. It is a bold email. It's an email, but it gives your team and your company visibility of what you bring. And I CC my manager and their boss in that email, right? Now, this is the great thing about it. I use ChatGPT all the time to draft these messages, right? Because I want to say, how to make this sound humble? How to make sure that I seem grateful? How to uplift my manager? These are the prompts that I'm putting into ChatGPT to customize this email. How to make sure this is relevant for this company in this way. What is the impact of my role on the overall vision of the company? And you send in these prompts and these commands into ChatGPT to shape. Now, this is the biggest thing. It feels like when people use ChatGPT, they feel that they're cheating. They feel, I'm cheating. I'm not doing it in the right way. No. You're saving yourself time.
Yes.
You're saving yourself time because sometimes we spend so much time thinking about trying to figure out how else we can do this, and we're wasting time. You're wasting time. And what you do, they will do the 80% of the work. And then you put the 20% that makes it more customizable, more relatable. Like, I give you an example. A friend of mine, her dad passed away, and I got so much love for her. and my dad passed away a couple of years ago. And so I just didn't know how to put into words. And I was taking so long, and I put it off for 2 days because I didn't know what to say and how to say it. And so I'm being as transparent as possible. So what I did was actually I wrote what I was thinking in one place and said, create a message on all of these thoughts. And I said, I don't want the message to be too long because what I wrote was very, very long. And I was thinking, I don't want to make her sad, and I'll make it funny. And it gave me a structure that I was able, now by the time I was able to work it, there was pretty much, I changed most of it, but it gave me a framework that allowed me to send a message that I put off for 2 days. I did it within 30 minutes. And it's like, it's an enabler to ultimately help you communicate in the ways that connects with what you want to communicate. The 80% is not what we care about. We care about the 20%. That's the you factor. But the structure, the format, and how that looks like, it's good to have that as support so that you're able to try. And there's so many platforms, I'm not going to be an advert for ChatGPT, but there's so many platforms that does this. And we need to figure out how can we leverage that to help us get to the next level. Cool. So same self-promotion, those are about one-to-ones. I'm going to talk a little bit about people that run businesses. I have a client that said to me, hey, I have this tool that she's selling to a large organization. It was helping people get software engineers for banking. And she said, I'm going to give them access to my platform, and I'm going to charge them £40,000. And she said, okay. And I said, you're not charging enough. And she said, why? And I said, because the value to the business, if they was able to hire the 20 developers that they would get from your platform, £100,000. She said, but when I told them 40,000, it was a lot. It's a lot of money. And the person that I'm speaking to says the budget is half that. And I said, you're talking to the wrong person. You're talking to the wrong person. Either you're talking to the wrong company, and it wasn't, because the company's valued in the billions, or you're talking to the wrong person at the company. When you change your price, the person that sees the value and that truly has the budget will appear. And so sometimes, because we price things based upon how much it costs us. Let me break it down for you. You may have a car and you're thinking to yourself, this car is worth, I don't know, 800. And so if I sell this car and make a profit on it, I'm going to sell it for 1,000. And that's how we think about it. We think, how much is the cost to me? And add a little bit of margin, and that's how we sell. It's not about how much it costs to you, it's what's the value to the person that you're selling it to. And that's how you sell. Your focus should be related to the value that you're giving. If you're able to, if that car came with a driver, for example, and then you was able to chauffeur someone from one place to another place, and that had a level of security for that individual, and that person was able to save time and make more money whilst you was there, while you had a driver for them. That basically, how can we add multiple levels of value to them? And if you was able to do it on a monthly basis rather than an upfront fee, that how can we add multiple levels of value to this individual so it's clear that you're giving them more than just a vehicle? Like, what are the things that we can add to showcase to them that ultimately what I'm giving you is way more than just this one item? And that's what it's about. So you're selling, what would be the cost to them if they didn't have your service in front of them? Now, it's so important that what is the return of investment without using your service? People say sometimes the price is too high. What's the cost of not using me? If you use someone else, what will be the cost? If this goes wrong, what will be the cost? Like, those are the way you shift the conversation from the price. What would we get if we do this? If they can't identify that, we're more than likely talking to the wrong person. And the biggest power when it comes to sales is saying no. It's saying no. You need to be able to say no. You need to be able to turn around to people and say, I really appreciate where you are. Once you get to this level, we should connect. But as of where you are, it's probably not the right time for you and me. And I don't want to feel like I'm taking advantage because you don't have the capacity for that right now. Now, you being able to say no and also say no to stuff that you don't feel you're strong at. If I was in a restaurant and I hate going to restaurants when you ask the waiter what is good here and the waiter says everything. It's not possible. There's no way you can have 50 things on this menu and everything be good. It's not possible. I need to know I will always respect the waiter or waitress that says, the chicken, there's nothing better. But our beef, that's shot next door. Because I won't even go to that person solely for the food on the menu. I'll say, what club should I go to? Where else? Because now you become a trusted advisor because I believe what you're telling me. Same with your services. And even if I don't have the chicken that day, I will then tell other people, listen, that place has amazing chicken. Because I trust the person that gave me that information. You cannot say I do everything. You can't. Just tell them I do this really well and I don't. And that ability to say no can add levels to your value of what you bring to the customers. It is, I can't stress this enough. It is so important for you to say, here's what I can do and here's what I can't do. And I'm gonna end on this because I think it's best. I know there's gonna be questions and I know there's gonna be questions coming up, but I want to end on this. And so one of the key things is you cannot, and this is for work, this is for running your own business, you cannot be desperate. And it's like, what do you mean? Let me say it this way. Have you ever gone to the supermarket or the grocery store hungry? You buy rubbish. Something you never tasted before, you think, let me test this one. Let me see what this one is saying. It's because you're hungry and your hunger is causing you to get things that you don't need, right? And so what you need to do is you need to make sure that every time you're talking to someone at work, think, am I coming from a place of desperation? You need to check yourself. Is this conversation, if I had the money, would I have this conversation with this person? And reflect and say, is this the conversation I want to be having? If this was 6 months from now, is this what I want to be doing? Right? And so and it's so hard to do, but it's so important. Because if you're desperate, people feel it, they can smell it, and you make bad decisions. And that affects your reputation either at work or of your business, or even when you're looking for a job. My biggest advice is when you're in a job or in your role and you're doing well, that's when you look for your next opportunity. It's not when you're about to be let go. It's not about, because you're desperate, they can feel it, they can smell it. It's when you're on the high. And if it just so happens that, well, I haven't got a job right now, I haven't in the position I want to be, you have to think, if I was in a good position, would I accept this role? And if the answer is no, then you have to reflect and you have to treat it accordingly. But yeah, I spoke about a lot. I know there's so much, right? But there's so little time. But I wanted to touch on practical things that you can do. And my biggest advice, and ending it on this, is anytime you think, how do I write this? How do I explain this? Just put in ChatGPT. Save yourself time. Use that technology to pivot you rather than you wasting time about thinking, and use that as a template for you to you start from and then move forward. All right. Thank you very much for hearing from me. All right.
Wow. I was still marinating some of these points, I was still trying to digest some of them before you said you're stopping. I really wanted to hear you continue this conversation. I was still thinking, okay, the biggest power when it comes to say, as I was still thinking about this one.
Leader, this internet is coming for you. They don't want you to be great, but you'll be great regardless. Don't worry about it.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. So many of us were still digesting, from one point to another, one point to another. Before we know it, you are saying, no, I'm stopping. But just on the last point, saying no.
Mm,
I remember when I was quite young in my career, I once worked for a service industry, a hotel to be specific.
Mm.
And by then I was just starting my accounting career, but I already had a Bachelor of Science degree. And so when I joined the team, I was just learning. So I started with all the filing and everything else. And the team that was there was quite experienced, but I realized none of them actually had a degree. There's a
Mm.
reason why I'm saying this. So when I joined, then the main supervisor one day calls me, Susan, come here. I went to her office. Then she says, can you go and make me a cup of tea? And I said, no. And everybody in the department was shocked. So I didn't know what was going on. I was new. But in my mind, I said, that's not my job description. That's not what I came to do here. I didn't come to make tea. So I told her, I'm going to call room service to bring you a cup of tea. That made us enemies. But then I realized later on, it actually gave a lot of freedom to the rest of the team who couldn't say no at her commands every time that she just beckoned and everybody came, regardless. And they didn't want to be making tea for her. That was not their job description, But they made it because she was so bossy and she was a bully. And every one of us, and I don't know whether it's an African thing, we are so humble. We don't know how to say no. So, Francis, how do we gain that courage to just say no? Because especially in a job setup, people are afraid. I don't want to lose my job. This is my supervisor. I don't want to lose my job. It's 5 p.m. And that's when your supervisor is bringing you a lot of work. This assignment, this needs to be done right now. This is so urgent. Come on, we're knocking off right now and you're bringing me a whole list. And somebody doesn't want to say no and they'll probably just sit on and stay on the whole night. Even when they are so tired, they can't be so efficient. How do we say no? And I know most ladies are actually prone to this. How do we say no?
So it's the beautiful thing about this. It's about understanding the dynamic at work, and the reason why I say that is it's on expectations. It's what is the expectations you have of me, and what is the expectations I have of you, and it's in certain situations. What that really means is, you have conversations with people beforehand and saying, on this day. Now, if it was another day, maybe I could stay later, but on this day, I have certain commitments. And so, unfortunately, if you needed me to do certain things, I need you to give me the information by this time because of these commitments. And so, I want to do it for you. I really do. I would love to help you and get these things done. But for me, I would need it by 3 o'clock because I really need to. I know I finish at 5, but I can even stay to 6 on this day. But it's about expectations, right? And also that thing about giving people a report of all the things, because no one cares about what you've done. No one's they say do the job. They're not thinking when your manager says do A, they'll come back and say do B. They'll come back and say do C. And because they're not thinking about they gave you A already, right? So it's about saying, hey, here's all the things that I've done for the company. Here's the outcome of those things. And so therefore I would need to have more time to do A, B, and C, right? Now, actually, this is the key. It is better to take less time to do the work and have more time to write a report on what you've been doing than take the whole time just working. That level of visibility that you give to people, they literally said to me, I need you to be in management because the level of visibility. So when my manager got promoted, he said, I need that level of visibility across all the teams. And so it's that level of visibility that you give to people that allows people to say, hey, this is what I do, but also clarity. They can make informed decisions with the information that you're giving them. Like really, the new gold is data, right? It's power. Like that's where power is that information, that data. And you being able to feed that back to the business shows a level of authority. But it's always about expectations. So to go back to the original point, expectations. letting people know ahead of time, here is the things that I'm thinking about, and here's the things that it probably wouldn't work for me. And some people, as abuse of power. So saying no has to be is scary, and you think, what's the worst that can happen? And sometimes the worst can happen is you lose your job, but it's probably not where you want to be anyway. That's not getting the best from you. I hope I answered the question. I'm not sure if I spoke about
Thank you.
it.
Thank you very much, Francis.
Yes, you have.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Francis. You talked about a situation where women should self-promote. But how do you deal with situations where you're self-promoting? However, the people around you, maybe your teammates or your manager, thinks that you're blowing your trumpet, but we don't see anything good with what you're promoting yourself over. So how do you deal with such situations, and how do you deal with managers who want to block your progress despite the fact that?
Yeah, I think I've got the question. And so one of the things that's really it's the way you do the self-promotion. So one of the things that I feel is really important is that's why you have the log on a daily or weekly basis, and you send the log of here's the achievements that I'm thinking about. What do you think of the achievements? Just to your manager, giving them visibility. So by the time you self-promote to your manager's manager, or the person that reports to your leader, or person that your leader reports to, you praise your boss. So your boss has two options: either saying this is not true, she didn't do any of these good things, and deny the praise that you're giving them. Because that's the wisdom in it. It's I praise my boss. I say if my boss is called, don't want to offend it, let's say Gary or Grace. Let's say Grace. If my boss is called Grace, say Grace has been a valued part of my success. Actually, it's because of Grace I've been able to do A, B, C, D, E. Our team has excelled in these areas through my leadership and Grace empowering me to do A, B, C. You're listing the things that you already mentioned to Grace before. And so when we think about the benefits for the next quarter, I believe that we should be able to do A, B, C, D, E. And I'm really excited. If you want to talk to me more about this, we can have a conversation, or feel free to reach out to my manager, Grace, and we can talk about all these great stuff. It's so important. And then you go and have a relationship with Grace. How can we get together so we both can get promoted? How can I push you forward? Right? It's about leveraging the relationship, right? It's about saying you're promoting yourself via Grace, via your boss. Even if you don't have a formal kind of setup where, let's say, you're working more retail and or whatever it is, it's so how can I create an instance where I'm able to promote all the great stuff I've done through my manager to my manager's boss? Who are the other people within my business that I can reach out to and get sponsorship for or leverage the relationship?
Thank you, Francis. Let's now shift to the business angle. I like that you've addressed the career side very well. So how do we deal with customers who argue with the fact that, well, I can get your product from somewhere else at cheaper, and you have told us not to be desperate? How do we, and yet, sometimes you really want the money because when you look at your sales numbers, they're not doing well and you need the sale. How do you still keep your standards while also hitting your targets and dealing with customers who want to lower your standards?
No problem. My big thing is this. I offer less. So if I say I'm going to give you 100 hours worth of work and we can do these outcomes, right? And so here are the 5 outcomes that we can have with 100 hours. The person would say, well, I should charge you 60% of what I'm charging. I say, no problem. What am I going to do? I'm going to reduce the work I'll give you 40 hours for that 60%. Right? And here are the new outcomes that will come from that. And they said, yeah, but I want all of it. Well, we can't afford all of it yet. So let's focus on what you can afford and make sure I never negotiate. I'll just give you less. And it's such a hard thing to do. I would rather, and this is to me, and not everybody will do this, I would rather give you some of my time for free, the limited amount of my time for free, then you pay less than what the amount is, because there's no commitment. There's no outcome. I can choose to stop whenever I want. I don't actually have to deliver any outcome with you. I'm not desperate for it because I'm not getting paid for it, right? So it's like, and this is me. Not everybody should do that. Please don't get me wrong, because I even encourage my clients that they shouldn't do anything for free, right? But it's so important that you do not devalue what you bring to the table. Now, what also I typically think, and I'm talking to, I've had clients with tech companies, of clients that do services, and I help them build their sales strategy. I typically see, especially with my CEO women, they do not charge enough. They do not charge enough. Your pricing is already low. And the reason why the person is haggling on your pricing is because they're not your customer. Double your pricing, get rid of half your people. Because that's then you'll see who your real customers are. Because either one or two things, the customer's taking advantage, or they can't afford it, and so therefore they're not the customer you should be appealing to. If they're taking advantage, when you take your prices up, they'll change. Or if they're not your customer, let's find who your customers are. So I say this all the time. You need to understand, what value are you giving to this person? What outcomes are they getting? By them using you, what do you bring? Understand that, and then you sell based upon what they receive rather than what it costs you. I hope that helps. Was that clear? Yes, double your price. That's my big thing. I had a client.
Yes, it was very clear, Francis. Let me just chip in. Of course, on the pricing, very, very exciting topic that you have brought out there. Sometimes people are shy because they just don't want to lose the business. Now, I'm just wondering, have you always upheld these principles right from beginning when you started your business? Or is there a stage actually in business when you can feel, okay, at this point, I think I do have leverage and I cannot negotiate?
Yeah.
How do people marry that actually?
Yeah.
Because
So
businesses have got different stages,
yeah, totally. It's so hard, right? Because businesses do have different stages. You need to feel confident in what you bring to the table. It's so hard, and the way you feel confident is not by what everybody else says. It's by what have you done for the people that you've worked with? What is the outcome that they've received? So after you worked with one client, I always say I'll work with one. If I can afford it, I'll work with one person for free. And when I do that, I'll say, I'm going to ask you all the benefits of working with you, right? Or would work for someone at cost level. Because I want to know all the benefits that you feel that you receive from working with me, right? And I'll pump you from that information, right? Because that you need to understand, you need to inventory and say, what value does my business bring to other people? What does that look like? And write that down. And what will be the impact? And what does that look like? I'm a revenue consultant, so I help people that typically within the B2B space scale their business. Now, my big thing is this, is like some of these businesses that I work with will not exist in 18 months if they didn't work with me. It took me a long time to see that. I was just working with people and I was saying, yeah, but but I was able to connect my involvement with the outcome of they do not have and it was a client that said it to me. I would not have a business if I didn't work with you. And I thought to myself, if that's the value that I'm bringing, I'm charging the wrong amount of money. So you constantly have to reevaluate. And just because it was I know, what's his name? The DJ Khaled that said it, or was he Fat Joe that said it? Yesterday's price is not today's price, right? You know, so what I charged yesterday is not what I'm going to charge today, because as I'm getting better and redefining what I'm doing, I'm constantly evolving, and now you're able to benefit from more my expertise in ways that you couldn't before because of all the clients that I've had, right?
Wow, thank you so much, Francis. It's really been an amazing conversation with you this evening. And one thing I have learned over time as a business owner is that people who pay more attention.
Yes.
So just in case you're worried about increasing your prices, I have learned that people who don't pay attention. And those who pay more attention. So ladies, don't be afraid to increase your prices. Of course, you must be offering value, like he already earlier on said in his presentation. There must be value. You don't increase because of how much you are doing, but rather how much value the client is getting from your product or service. Thank you so much, Francis, for your insightful conversations that have spanned both the side of career and business. I believe our audience are very happy to have had you tonight. So thank you so much. We look forward to hearing from you in the next growth conference. I know you're now part of the growth movement. That means that you're not leaving us alone. Once you speak in this growth conference, you become a part of the growth movement. Once you attend the growth conference, you become a part of the growth movement. So to all our 37 attendees tonight, just know that you are part of a growth movement. We are not about to stop this thing. Come 2025, we have greater plans for you. So you better stay with us, because this year we were testing 1, 2, 3, and we've seen it work. So next year we have greater plans for you. So before we invite our third speaker, I want you to join me in the comment section to say thank you to Francis. I can see someone has said send love emojis. People are using technology in this place. Oh my God! Send some flowers, send some, poppers to say thank you to Francis for the insightful presentation that he has given us tonight. And of course, we are warming up. We are going from the UK to Rwanda. But before we go to Rwanda, we shall have a short commercial break with an interview with an advert, not an interview, an advert which will be run by Matilda from Agora Microfinance, who are part of our sponsors and supporting this conference tonight. So Matilda, over to you.
Thank you, Lydia. Good evening. Good evening, ladies. I'm humbled to speak to such great people, such great audience. Thank you so much. I am Agora Microfinance, and Agora was opened in 2011 here in Zambia, which is holding a clientele of 165,000 clients. Of these, 59% are women. So who are we? Agora is a microfinance, a non-lending microfinance, which gives out loans, which are categorized in different categories. We have flexi loans, we have SGBL, we have microloans, we also have SMEs, we also have Lima loans, that is agriculture loans. So I'll be able to speak to each one of them. First, flexi loans. We also have non-financial loans. So I'll start with the flexi loan. So flexi loans, these are group loans. They are group guaranteed loans with a minimum number of 30 to 100 members. So these loans, they are not collateral based. They are based with groups. These groups are in different categories, small groups of 5 to 10 members each. So in these groups, depending on the capacity of the business, our loans start as low as 500 kwacha to 6,500. Also, from these groups, we graduate our clients to Flexi 2 loans. These Flexi 2 loans start from 6,500 to 15,000. From there, our clients graduate to small group business loans. So these small group loans, they have a minimum number of 8 to 10 members. From these groups, we have maximum amount of 20,000 kwacha. From these groups, we graduate our clients to microloans. Our microloans starts from 10,100 to 100,000. So if a client performs well from an SGL, we graduate them to a microloan. From a microloan, they grow to an SME. So these are the business loans that we offer. We also have agriculture loans. Mostly these clients are women. We are working closely with women in these groups, where we also have a gender balance. We also have group leaders in these groups. If a male is a group leader, we also have a vice who is a female. So we treasure really women in these groups, and where we also push them into leadership positions. From these loans, in Lima loans, we also do group and individual loans as agriculture loans. From that, we also have non-loans, which are insurance. We do sell insurance as microfinance, which we can give it to clients that do not get loans, non-clients of loans, but also can have a cover with us as Agora. We also do mobile money. So how do we do it? Mobile money, we transact with those that are doing small loans. So they're very small, small businesses. We do sell mobile. Basically, this is what we do as AMZ Zambia. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Matilda.
Thank
you so much, Matilda. Anyone in Zambia, take advantage of the opportunities. I like to tell people, like, opportunities are like monsoon winds. When you have them, take advantage of them. So ladies, they have given you different opportunities of how you can access finance so that you can be able to enhance your financial capability and build financial freedom for yourself and for your family. So right now, we shall be having, Agora has a video to play, so we shall allow that video to play for a few minutes, and then we shall get to our next speaker, who is none other than Professor Nazmat. She's our guest speaker. So let them play their video, and next we shall have our special guest, Professor Nazmat Bachinde, the Vice Chancellor of a university in Gambia. Yes, we can have the profile, the video play, sorry.
A land of abundant natural resources and agricultural potential. Today, we embark on a transformative journey, uncovering the profound impact of Agora Microfinance Zambia Limited, part of the Agora Microfinance Group, which was established in 2009. The group offers both equity and debt, with investments in Asia and Africa.
At Agora Microfinance, our mission is to contribute to economic well-being of the low-income communities. And we believe that financial inclusion is the key to unlocking the potentials of these communities so that they can move out of poverty and have an economic voice.
The story of Agora Microfinance remains a testament to this end, having been established in Zambia in 2011.
Currently, we've got 6 branches in all the 10 provinces of Zambia. We go in the far-flung rural areas, and not just at the district itself. From the district, we cover a radius of up to 100 kilometers. In some of those areas, for you to reach those areas, you need to use a motorbike. You can't even use cars, but Agora is there. In some instances, you have to use the pontoon to reach these people. And you will do that wherever you go, there's an Agora plant throughout Zambia.
We are here to bridge the gap between the poor and the rich by taking the finances close to their doorsteps.
Most of the time, it's the small trading businesses, just a simple small grocery. Others will be marketeers. And mostly all these activities are related to farming activities. Our portfolio now stands at $14.6 million. And across the country, we have 141,000 clients.
Through accessible loans, People who could not have access to capital before can now gain the means to turn their aspirations into reality.
Many of our clientele do have multiple livelihoods. Responding to these varying needs requires an intimate walk with our clients. We understand the challenges that they face. And this comes from limited access to the market, unpredictable weather patterns that do affect their production, and also limited capital.
Farming is
Many of our clientele do have multiple livelihoods. Responding to these varying needs requires an intimate walk with
so
our
you can have a
clients.
problem,
Understand
but
the
you also have
challenges.
to understand. They have built trust, now they understand the operation, they really appreciate it, because when they are at that point of need, then we help them, they really appreciate it. We have been with them for so long.
Our strategy over the 12 years of operations has been around product diversification, ranging from loans, microinsurance, mobile money services, and also most recently, a leasing product.
Clients don't need to feel shy to approach us to get a loan because they don't have collateral, no. All they need is to trust each other, form the groups, then they'll guarantee each other and they will access a loan from Agora Microfinance.
Thanks to the 60 Decibels Microfinance Index Insights report, based on interviews with 275 Zambian citizens, Agora Microfinance has a clear understanding of its impact performance on the ground. It confirms that 83% of clients had no prior access to a loan like the one from AMZ, and that 99% of clients used their loan for business purposes.
I got 6,500. It has boosted my business, and in fact, things even at home they are easy to do just because I'm doing something.
Agora yachinja kuvantu vana vunji vose oke vari muagora yava yachinja kamba vakaripengeta iya kuti akari kusupa ano yakatwichinja tokana kunje tokari kuona manda abwisu ano tokaona manda amasei.
Beyond economic impact, Agora Microfinance Zambia's work has unleashed a sense of dignity and self-worth among the clients they serve.
Agora, it doesn't choose who to be. As long as you are active, the Agora people will give you what you need. I've managed to buy clothes, I've managed to build houses for my children, I've managed to stock my animals. Agora has really helped me to improve my life.
Our partnerships range from mobile network operators for the mobile money services and also the farm equipment lease providers. Additionally, at the local front, we have partnered with FSTZ and also Rufel. These partners have come along to help us on our digitization journey, which we started in 2017.
We're able to make our clients sign digitally. We're able to onboard our clients. We're able to take photos of our clients. We're also able to pick the GPS points of our clients. All this is done digitally. So that in the end allows us as an organization to be able to make informed data-driven decisions.
Agora Microfinance obtains its funding from impact investors. This funding is usually impacted by the hedging costs. Thankfully, during the period of the pandemic, we were able to obtain cheaper funding from the Bank of Zambia. With those gains, we were able to pass on a 6% reduction in interest to our clients. Many of our clients do not have a place where they can save their money. Even their funding is quite seasonal. So you find there are times when they do have a lot of money, and there are times when they actually want to save for a rainy day at a point when they need to buy inputs or they need to send the child to school. And therefore, we believe that once we become deposit taking, this need will be met. But at the same time, for the financial institution, this is going to be a cheap source of funding that is going to help us to also pass on the gains to our clients.
Agora Microfinance Zambia continues to be a beacon of hope, transforming lives, one client at a time. Through their unwavering commitment and innovative solutions, they are paving the way toward a brighter future for low-income households in Zambia.
Thank you very much, Agora Microfinance. If you have been very observant, you've probably noticed that Agora Microfinance is actually being spearheaded by none other than our very own super host tonight, Susan Chibanga. Susan, well done. That's amazing work that you're doing in Zambia. Applause for you and your team. And I could also see Gerald somewhere within the video. So Gerald, well done. And also, and to all the people who are joining us from Zambia, if you are not yet banking or engaging with Agora Microfinance, I think today is the day that you should make a decision to be a part of the great story that they are creating in Zambia. So thank you so much once again for being a part of the Growth Conference. Tonight, like I promised you, we have a special guest who will be sharing with us her story. And tonight we have Professor Nazmat Bachinda, who is going to share her story with us tonight. So just allow me to introduce her, and then she will share her story with us for 10 minutes. Who is Professor Nazmat Bachinda? She's the Vice Chancellor of the University of Applied Science, Engineering and Technology in the Gambia. Professor Nazmat is the first female Vice Chancellor of USET and a renowned leader in engineering and academia. With a PhD from the University of Liverpool and a distinguished career in Nigeria, she has made significant contributions to research, education, and advocacy for girl-child education. Her leadership at USET reflects her commitment to excellence, empowering women, and fostering impactful educational initiatives across Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome Professor Nazmat, our special guest for tonight's Growth Conference. Professor Nazmat, you are warmly welcome. We are glad to glean from your wisdom tonight.
Good evening, Lydia. Good afternoon, good morning from many parts of the world you are listening to us. Thank you so much, Lydia, and all organizers of this Growth Conference. I sincerely apologize for coming late. I am talking to you live from inside my car because I got stranded. I'm on transit, but I say I must take part in this conference because of what it is to me. Thank you so much for giving me this special privilege of taking part in this conference. I was part of this conference the last time as a participant, and I know I enjoyed it and I learned a lot from it. I am Nazmat Surajuddin Bakinde. I am a professor of electrical and electronics engineering from the University of Ilorin. Originally, I'm an indigene of Offa in Kwara State, Nigeria. My story is a long one, but I'm going to summarize it because of the time I have. I actually started, what I can say is that whatever I've become today is to the glory of Almighty Allah and with the support of my parents. When I started my secondary school, I was given the impression that mathematics is very difficult. So when I got to my secondary school, I went to a female-only secondary school, and then it was more of gymnastics and playing that I was involved in. I did not take my academics very seriously. Unfortunately for me, I have parents. My parents are educationists. My dad was a principal. My stepmom was a secondary school teacher. So they did not allow me. When I got my results and I didn't fail mathematics, but I did not do very well as they were expecting me. And I told them, math is very difficult. And they were like, really? Well, they made me to repeat my second year, which we normally call Form 2 then, because of mathematics. Because they insisted, no, there's nothing like it's difficult. They got me lesson teachers. They concentrated on me reading my books. They made me change school from girls-only school to mixed school, which made me to become more competitive. I cried my life out when I was told to repeat it, even though I did not fail. But they insisted, yes, because I was not taking my studies very seriously. I think that was the turning point in my life. But they gave me all I needed to be able to perform well, even though it was difficult at the beginning. When I changed my school from St. Clair's Anglican Girls Grammar School to Offa Grammar School, I met with boys who were very studious. And then my first year there, I came second overall. And they came to meet me physically and say, "You, where do you think you come from? You want to be leading us, just coming in and you'll be leading us?" I got home and told my parents, and they said, "You know what? Don't argue with them. Just keep working. Just keep doing your own." And that was exactly what I did. Do you know, up till today, we became friends, because when they did and they realized I'm not going to give up on them and I was not flexing muscles, they said, "Okay, let's become reading mates." And that was exactly what we became. So, having done that, I was doing very well in secondary school. You know, going into the university, they wanted me to read medicine. But because the mathematics, they made me to repeat the course. I became so good in it that I scored 98 in further maths. I remember very well. And even despite that, I was the head girl of my school for a period of 2 years, you know, because I repeated. So the SS3 started on our set. I graduated 1990. So instead of spending 5 years in secondary school, I actually spent, is it 7 or yes, 7 good years. But it was 7 years that actually paid off, because it molded me. It made me to be more serious. It made me to take my studies to be very, very important. And I knew that there's nothing my parents would take from me than to succeed. And I came out successfully. Going into the university, I told them I cannot do medicine. It has to be engineering. So that is how I became an electrical and electronics engineering student. To cut the story short, I was able to graduate with a second-class upper. And then I got married. It was time to start working. I said, I want to go into the field. I want to practice. I want to work maybe on the field, to go and practice, be in an engineering company and all those stuff. But my dad and my husband, they said, "Look, you have to be in teaching. Lecturing is what they think is good for me." At first, I wasn't happy with that. But you know what? To the glory of God, I got 2 appointments that were dated the same day. One in Lower Niger River Basin Authority as a training engineer, and another one in University of Ilorin as a graduate assistant. Were both signed and dated 3rd of July 2000. So here was I then. What do? I had to accept the one for University of Ilorin, because, okay, they said that one will give you time to be able to take care of your children. It will give you time. It is flexible when you are in academics. And that is how I became a lecturer. I came in and then I improved myself by getting myself registered for all these pedagogical studies that will improve me as a lecturer, because that was not what I intended doing and I wasn't prepared for it. But what I want to say at this point is that we always see lecturing as the most easy thing. It wasn't. It is something that I told people that you have to do lecturing like you are parenting. If you want to teach children of others, if you take them like your children and you are doing it like you are parenting, you will do it with all your heart, because you want results, because you don't want to teach your children and make them fail. So that was exactly what I did. Then I got a scholarship, Commonwealth Academic Staff Scholarship, to go and do my PhD in the University of Liverpool in UK. I did it. I came back, even though some people were saying, "Why should I come back?" I said, no, I have to come back because I signed a bond and I have my conscience. My conscience will not allow me to stay back. I came back and then came back into the university where I was, which was the platform for which I got the scholarship. And then I started rising across through from a graduate assistant to assistant lecturer, then lecturer 1, lecturer 2, then lecturer 1, then I became a professor in 2022. It was not a rocket science thing, and the promotion was not like everything was coming as they should. I was denied promotion about 3 times. but still I keep on working. And then, you know, rising, I want to say that University of Ilorin, whoever knows the university, we normally call it University Better by Far University. My daughter finished from that same university and will tell you, Mommy, your university is not better by far, it's better by stress. But the stress that University of Ilorin made me to go through as a lecturer, it paid off for me because I was put in different committees at the departmental level, faculty level, university level. And because I believed so much in this saying of anything worth doing at all is worth doing well. Whenever I'm given a job or a duty, I always want to do it well. Because I believe if you know you are not going to do it, why should you accept it in the first place? So this is how I was doing my work. I got different appointments in the university, even outside within Nigeria. I was on the platform of Nigerian Communication Commission as one of the reviewers for our telecommunication-based proposals and others like that. This opportunity of going to Gambia became in December 2023 when a colleague, a very dear sister, sent me the advert that there is a position for Professor of Electrical, which I can apply for. I said, okay, let me try. I applied and I submitted. You know, when the submission was done, I just did it like, let me just try because this sister is interested in me. That look, come on, my sister, you can do it. I said, okay. And then I was selected. I went through the interview and I was selected. And I was invited to be a volunteer under this technical aid corps. That is how I became a volunteer, a lecturer at Gambia. And then we were posted to University of Applied Science, Engineering and Technology. That university happened to be the second public university in the Gambia. And it is actually one that was transformed from a Gambia Technical Training Institute by the Act of Parliament into a technological university. And then we were invited, not only me, 18 of us came from Nigeria to help them in this transformation. I got to the Gambia on the 7th of June precisely, and then we were teaching, helping them with policy development. And then one day, the chairman of governing council, because I actually happened also to be the only woman among the 18 volunteers, they now made me their leader, the group leader. So I was on the team that went to welcome the president of Gambia one day to one of his commissioning that he normally do. So he went to actually visit our site that is still under construction, the permanent site. So the governing council chairman now told me that they want to invite all of us that are professors or among the 18 volunteers for a discussion, for a small discussion, because they want to fill some leadership position, some leadership positions in USET. I told my colleagues, and then, you know, when you say discussion, there was no advert, there was nothing. But because I believe that anything worth doing at all is worth doing well, I still prepared for it well because I know that I prepared. They did not tell us exactly what they were going to give any one of us, but there is the vice chancellor, there is deputy vice chancellor, academics, director of 2 directors that they wanted to fill the positions. I went there well prepared. I was able to answer the question. But when I got there, I realized it wasn't just a small discussion. It was a powerful panel members of judges, of panel members of reviewers or interviewers who were on standby to interview us. More than 10 people. So they were throwing questions here and there. At the end of the day, all what I prepared for was not even forthcoming, but the experience I gained from all the work I did as acting head of my department, as assistant director, Center for International Education, as working on the committee where we have the vice chancellor, you know, that came into being. I normally represent my dean also. You know, before I left, when my dean came on board, he just put me in so many committees. I was like, Dean, do you want to kill me? He will say, my prof, I know you can do it. Just do it. And I was doing it. Those things came into being when they were asking all these questions. And then when the result was announced, I became the vice chancellor, the first female vice chancellor, actually, the first female substantive vice chancellor in the whole Gambia. And this is how I got to this position today. It has not been easy. I was handed over to the 3rd of October. And I must tell you also that it was a very turbulent entry I had, because the staff, the Staff Welfare Association of USET, they were on sit-down strike. I think they did it because they want to, but doing that actually gave me a very turbulent start, but it really made me to know what their problems are, and we've been moving on well. So here I am today, my dear sisters and brothers that are here with us. It is not easy to grow, to get to this position is not something that you just feel that maybe you have to push or do something, but I have something paying off for me every day. I don't leave my prayers. I believe in hard work, but I believe no matter how hard you work, you must be prayerful. You must be prayerful, because I find myself also in a discipline that is more of male dominated. And sometimes my colleagues will tell me, what were you looking for in engineering? You go in acting. But this is where God has brought me today. I thank you so much. I hope my story will have inspired 1 or 2 persons that you can do it. Please give your daughters the opportunity to excel. Don't be biased. Let's stop these stereotypes. Give them that template where they can all do well. May God Almighty be with all of us. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all.
Wow, amazing story. Thank you so much, Professor Nazmat, for sharing your story with us. One thing I have picked surely is that anything worth doing at all is worth doing well. So I want to ask each of you joining us tonight, when you look at what you're doing, your business, your work, your parenting, and whatever it is that you're doing in your life, are you doing it really well? I think that is food for thought that all of us need to go and check out in our lives and ask ourselves if we are just doing things to tick the boxes, or we are doing things to do them to the best of our abilities. And like Professor Nazmat has told us, that is her mantra that she runs with. No wonder she has been able to rise fast to the top the way she has risen. I'm very sure that that combined with the spirit of prayer is what has taken her to the top and is what is keeping her at the top. The second question you need to ask yourself is, how is my prayer life? Maybe you're working very hard, but your prayer life is limping. Like you can see, her secret is not just doing it well, but her secret is doing it well, praying and persevering. That is food for thought for you tonight. Like I told you, the Growth Conference brings you amazing speakers, leaves you thinking. If you fail to have a great 2025, it's because you don't want. Noella has given us an opportunity to experience the best of the best across the world. So ladies and gentlemen, join me to send some emojis to say thank you to Professor Nazmat. I know you now know how to use these emojis on your Zoom. Come on now, it's a technological conference. We are having technological conversations. You can't say you don't know how to use your thank you emojis. Please join me to send some love, to send some thank you to Professor Nazmat. Thank you so much. We appreciate the fact that you refuse nothing to stop you. You could have said, oh, now I'm driving, I can't make it, but you refuse nothing to stop you, and we really do appreciate you. Thank you so much, Professor Nazmat. We don't take it for granted that you decided to spend some of your time with us tonight. So ladies and gentlemen, join me to welcome our last speaker for the Growth Conference Southern Africa, none other than Philae from Rwanda. From Rwanda, we are moving all the way from West Africa to Rwanda now. We have yet another amazing speaker. Philae will be our last speaker for tonight and our last speaker for the Growth Conference 2024. So let's all put our hands together to welcome Philae. And as we welcome her, I will be reading her bio. Who is Philae? Philae Naverwa is a leading innovator in healthcare technology at Rwanda Social Security Board.
With over 7 years of experience, she has spearheaded transformative projects, including the digitization of Rwanda's healthcare scheme, which serves 85% of the nation's population. Her work ensures greater accessibility and efficiency in healthcare service delivery. Phile's academic foundation in international business and trade from the African Leadership University equips her with a unique blend of technical and business skills. She's deeply committed to empowering women and youth as critical drivers of Africa's sustainable growth. Her leadership in technology-driven solutions and her dedication to making a social impact highlight her vision of harnessing innovation for development. Phile's work continues to inspire others, proving that technology can revolutionize public services and improve lives. Ladies and gentlemen, join me tonight to welcome Phile to take us through our last conversation of the Growth Conference tonight. It's going to be amazing. Phile, you're warmly welcome. We look forward to yet another insightful and powerful conversation from you. Welcome to take the stage, Phile.
Thank you so much, Lydia, for the wonderful introduction. I'm really happy to be here, and I'm glad that I got to listen to everybody from yesterday to today. All the presentations were wonderful and very insightful. So today, it's an honor to be speaking tonight, and I'm going to be talking about how women can be part of the forefront of tech innovation and pioneering its implementation all over the place. So I have been in the tech space since 2015. Right after I graduated high school, I was able to join through a coding club that was done by a small startup in the school's neighborhood. So it was really just a chance encounter that allowed me to join it, and it has really been part of my heart and my experience since then. So also I would like to say that as women who are in the tech ecosystem, we have all been the only one in the room, or there is the other woman part of the the meeting, part of in the conference room, because we are not so many as we should. So sometimes it has been isolating. It can be isolating, but it also can increase our determination to do better and to also strive to support other women to participate in technology. And the other also interesting thing is women's participation in technology isn't just about equality. It's also about tapping into their transformative power and to bring in their voices to drive meaningful innovation. When women are involved, it's not just to be diverse or to include, to include more people, but it creates value. So tonight I want to discuss, the importance of diversity and innovation, and also highlight some women in Rwanda who are doing amazing as leaders, and also some of the steps you can take to ensure that women are participating in the ecosystem a little bit more. So with different perspectives, when they come together, innovation really flourishes. People's unique experience shapes their approach to problem solving, and this diversity of thought is crucial to create products and solutions that truly works for everyone. I would like to give an example. This is one of my friends. She just had the baby 9 months ago. So she had been shopping, she knows all the baby materials and all that. So she was telling me that strollers were started to be innovated and to be improved drastically when men started using them more often. So for decades, strollers were primarily designed for women in mind, since they were the ones, caring for the children as much and also bringing them to places. So, but as the social norms shifted, more fathers started carrying strollers in public and on planes. So when these men entered the design, the men that were carrying the strollers, they were also in those design rooms, and they were also in those boardrooms investing and making those decisions. So with the experience, they brought the fresh perspective based on their experiences. The results made that the stroller became lighter, more compact, and easier to fold easier to fold. So these designs were better suited for public transportation and travel. So this example illustrates that it illustrates a simple but also a powerful truth. When people with diverse experiences participate in the innovation process, the results are smarter, more practical, and also much more inclusive. So now, from that perspective, imagine when the tech industry can achieve if we involve women more. These women are bringing their unique perspectives. They are part of the solution now instead of the receiver of these innovations. So these women's insights would be able to shape these decisions because they're part of the communities, the families, and workplaces that can lead to innovation that solves these problems more holistically and much more effectively, because they are also the consumers of these solutions that we are creating. So making sure that there is equitable diversity in these spaces ensures that everybody's needs are being met right. So to also give you some of the examples of the women, at least here in Rwanda, that are truly trailblazing the way to allow more women to join the ecosystem, but also create more value. I would give an example of our current Minister of Innovation and ICT, Paula Ingabire. She has championed very many initiatives for the last few years as she has been the minister, making sure that Rwanda becomes one of the hub for technological advancement and digital transformation. Under her leadership, technology is really driving progress and inclusion across the nation. I would also like to highlight Dr. Diane Karusisi, who is the CEO of Bank of Kigali Group. So Bank of Kigali is the largest Rwanda's financial services groups. I think during the conference we have mentioned a lot of women who are leading the way in finance and in technology, and it's also the same for here in Rwanda, how how technology has really brought up finance and accessibility and other services that were historically hard to access. So even here in Rwanda, the women are leading most of the banks, most of our big financial institutions are being led by women, and we can see its transformation and how it has driven innovation and in critical sections like financial technology, and also including economic inclusion. So also I would like to mention that Rwanda's cabinet is majority of women. I think around maybe 64% are women. So this does showcase the power of gender inclusivity and leaderships. These leaders influence policy that foster progress, equality, and also innovation across all the sector. So I would also like to highlight some of the ways we can do better as an ecosystem, but also as a community, for us to allow women to be better and drive innovation in tech better. So one of the things is starting early. I think that in some cases we do want to solve the problem, to solve the problem when we reach the workforce, but these changes needs to start early. I think Ruth touched on it, on how to make sure that children are engaged, especially young girls, to make sure that they give their daughters opportunities to experiment with technology, and also to participate in STEM activities. The reason why I joined the tech space is because I participated in a program when I was at that point 16. That once, I think it was a 6-month program, gave me space to really experiment and choose to join the tech space, because on that day at school, a certain company just decided to join. So allowing girls to join different activities, clubs, and things like that are gonna be a very good a very good catalyst for their interest in case they would like to join the ecosystem. And there is, of course, building inclusive workplaces to make sure that the hiring, the flexibility, some things like working from home has become the norm in most spaces. It was partially due to COVID, but we realized that after COVID, we can still be productive. We can be with a little bit more flexibility. If we allow women to be a little bit more flexible, as long as they get the job done, we should be able to give them spaces to figure out how to manage work and also personal responsibilities, because women in some cases are mostly caretakers. So there is also, of course, mentorship. And I would also, again, like to highlight men as great allies that can make sure that we reach these goals in that we allow women, that propels women to keep advancing. So advocating for equity, men in leadership positions, making sure that they are hiring and providing and championing policies that make sure that women are taken care of. I would also, yes, that are taken care of, and also, of course, making sure that they also support share the load, where if not only at work but also at home, making sure that as a partner, as a husband, as a roommate, whatever that is, to make sure that you're also sharing the load at home, so that women have space for them to invest time in their careers instead of, dealing with double the burden of work at home and also your workforce jobs. So another point is as women, we do make most of the spending decisions. So women, I think over 70% of global consumer spending is women make those decisions. So the women's purchasing power represents, I think, like 18 trillion on the global market. So we really need to listen to women, because they are the people accessing these services. They are deciding what to eat, what to buy, the furniture, the gadgets, the schools the kids are gonna join. Most decisions that are made, women make a crucial participation. So as I close, I would like to highlight that it's not just about creating opportunities for women, it's about building a better and more innovative world. When women lead, everybody wins, because we're doing it for everybody. So let's commit to a future where women don't just participate in technology, we shape its direction, its purpose, and also its potential. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you very much, Philae, for that mind-triggering conversation. For me, it has brought it forward that indeed, as women, we play a crucial role, and we should not remain at the back seats. So ladies, we play a crucial role in the technological ecosystem. So tonight, Philae has brought it forward that we need to arise and participate. I mean, if we are affecting buying decisions that much, then we should arise and do something. So I just want you to join me once again to thank Philae for that presentation. Thank you so much. Tonight, we've really had mind-triggering conversations. I don't know if you have felt the same way, but my mind has kept on jogging and thinking, what can I do about it? What can I do about it? How can I contribute to this ecosystem? How can I introduce this to my spaces? How can I introduce this to my community? And those are the kind of conversations we should be asking ourselves. We should not just sit here and say, oh, the growth conference was good. Oh, Noella brought us something amazing. Oh, we had great speakers. I think beyond saying it was great, it was good, the greater question is, what are you going to do about it? As we come to the end of today's conversation, as we come to the end of the growth conference, Southern Africa, you need to be able to ask yourself, what are you going to do about what you have learned from our different speakers today and yesterday. How are you going to implement some of the things we have learned? And one of my mentors always tells me, don't try to implement too many things. Just pick one thing and say, I am going to run with this, and make sure you implement it. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for staying with us. Thank you so much for joining us for the Growth Conference Southern Africa. It is definitely better with you present. So we appreciate the fact that you have stayed with us, that you have participated. Let us, before I hand over to our super host, Super Susan, please join me to send some emojis of thanksgiving, some emojis of appreciation to Philae for that insightful conversation that as women, we too have a role to play in shaping our technological ecosystem. Philae, thank you so much. We appreciate that. And we know that you have started something within us to think about what we can do in our own spaces. If ladies can do it in Rwanda, then it means that they can also do it in the different parts of the world. But before we close, I want to ask at least a few questions, because your conversation was really insightful. So just allow me to ask a few questions, and just in case you're here and you also have a few questions that you want to ask Philae, the time is now. Please feel free to go to the comment section and type any questions that you have to ask Philae, so that by the time we leave, we are surely full with information that will enable us take the right kind of action. So Philae, I want to know, how can companies measure and ensure accountability for their efforts in promoting gender equity in the tech roles? Because we've seen that, yes, women play a role, but how can companies have some level of accountability so that the women are also brought to the front seats as far as these conversations are concerned, and are not left behind like we see in many organizations?
Yes. Thank you, Lydia. I think, again, especially for companies, it will always go back to policy that is put in place to support not only just the women, but to support the workforce in general. Are we creating policies that are going to make sure that the marginalized groups are supported? We are ensuring that there is no harassment. There is a safe space to really thrive in the work environment. And the policy will always go back also to flexibility. Are we allowing women to work in a way that works best for them? Sometimes 9 to 5 might not be the ideal format for some, especially mothers. If you have a sick child and you have to bring them to the hospital, it might create some friction if your workplace is not flexible and can allow you to navigate responsibilities and work responsibilities and home responsibilities simultaneously. So it will have to go to policy, and also looking at the hiring practices. What are they doing? How are we performing? What are we doing to make sure that we are creating a space where women are going to be thriving, and the retention is high. Like, we keep the women that we hire. It has been shown that if we are providing good flexible working conditions, we are providing good benefits, the women are going to be loyal. They are not going to leave a space that allows them to thrive in their careers. So it's looking at retention, looking at benefits that are being provided, and also looking at growth opportunities. Sometimes people say we don't have enough candidates, women candidates, that are applying for a number of positions. But as companies, what are we doing to grow that number? A number of trainings and mentorship programs have been shown to create good opportunities for these women to excel and be able to join, to reach whatever level of excellence or quality or skill you might need. So it's making sure that even the companies are participating or recreating programs in high schools, in universities, even within the company. How are we making sure to invest now to get results later? Because if you're training people now, you don't reap the benefits at that moment, but you make sure that you have trained and grew a workforce of women who are capable and who are able, and we are able to catch up to the men, because it's an opportunity. We are still playing the catch. We are still catching up. So creating these opportunities will make sure that you're getting great talent, you're retaining your talent, and they are also, again, at the end of the day, they are going to make sure that you get your return on investment, and they're gonna do great work for you. So that's what I would say for companies.
Thank you very much, Phile, for that answer to that question. So you said something about women's perspective, women having a unique perspective that they contribute to driving technology. So how are women able to do this? Can we actually hear some practical ways in which women can uniquely contribute to the driving of innovation and technology in their companies and in their spaces? And why is this diversity essential in shaping the future of technology?
Yeah, I would say that for practical examples on how to drive technology, to drive innovation in technology, of course, in addition to doing your normal responsibilities, I would say, if you have ideas, if you have things you would like to implement, speak up, present those ideas, make sure that you get heard by your manager's manager. It's something Francis said earlier about self-promoting. I think that it's still also a very valid way of going about this, making sure that whatever points whatever you think is best, presenting that and making sure that it gets implemented, of course, to the best of your abilities. It might start small, but in most cases, most places will allow for you to drive something. So in time, it becomes a space that is better shaped for you, because you were able to participate by providing these kinds of ideas and perspectives that might seem too obvious, but it has not been implemented in the first place.
Wow, thank you, Phile, for that. Ladies, like you have heard, you need to participate. You need to participate. If you're to contribute to this ecosystem, you can't contribute it with a closed mouth. A closed mouth is a closed destiny. A closed mouth closes your contribution to our technological advancement. And guess what? God has blessed us. We have this sixth sense as women. There is just something about when a woman is in a space, she makes it better. Of course, the women plus the men make it even greater. So, of course, we can't do this alone. We work alongside the men to do these great things together. One thing I have noted throughout today is that the speakers have been building on each other's conversations. And therefore, we have had a rich buffet on how we can actually leverage technology to advance as women. So thank you so much to all our speakers, both those that were here yesterday and those that have been here today. Thank you, Phile. Thank you, Francis. Thank you, Ruth Berra. Thank you, our guest speaker, Professor Nazmat. And for all of you who have joined us, come on now, you have made this amazing. It would have not been possible. These speakers would not have given this wonderful information to blank seats. Thank you so much for being with us here tonight. And to our super host who brought together these different speakers, you made this possible. Thank you so much, Super Susan, for giving us a super Southern African growth experience. We appreciate all the hard work you put together, of course, together with the other team. So right now, let me pass this ball back to our super host, Super Susan, to close our last edition of the Growth Conference 2024. Susan,
Thank you,
over to
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lydia, for anchoring this session today. Oh my, I could say a lot. I could take a lot of time for me just to summarize what we have learned today. But you see, for me, just one theme that has cut across yesterday and today is that we should not fear technology. For most of our speakers, they actually stepped into the unknown and they were amazed at what they found. So for all of us, let us make sure that we are embracing technology. Let's make sure that it can make our work very efficient. Let's make sure that technology is going to be the enabler for us to go into territories where we have never been, for us to overcome challenges and mountains, and for us to create solutions for the world. I could see already some business ideas that were shared today. You know, there are so many people that do their hair, and there are so many salons. Why can't somebody come up with some technology that can connect all these, you know, all those business ideas were shared on this platform? Oh my, I could take a lot of time. I do understand. We have taken so much time already, and I want to thank our participants, each and every person that has stayed on. Indeed, you needed to stay on. You needed to stay on, because now we are saying we saved the best for last. Yes, indeed. This conference would have not been possible without a founder, without a visionary, without somebody who also stepped into the unknown. She doesn't know what tomorrow holds, and she just said, let me do this. I don't know whether there will be people that will be following through on this train, but I will persuade them, I will influence them, I will tell them, I will bring them on board, I will create the connections, I will make sure that we are all learning together, that we are all growing together. The Growth Conference, whether it is in your personal life, whether it is in your professional life, I think there are so many insights that have been shared. So far, I've attended 2 Growth Conferences, the one for West Africa and this one, and I can tell that it's holistic. So you will grow in every area. Noella, the growth coach, is a resourceful and impactful business coach and trainer who has assisted individuals and corporate organizations to achieve outstanding performance in their personal lives and businesses. She is an internationally certified image consultant, a certified neuro-linguistic master practitioner, and a business analyst. She's a global keynote speaker and a consummate defender of the rights of women, the girl child, and indigent children. Noella's professional career revolved around banking for 9 years, where she established a sterling record of consistent high performance. She leads a team of thoroughbred professionals that has successfully delivered best scope intervention services in the core areas of business optimization and personal development to some of Nigeria's biggest corporate organizations. Noella has an amazing passion for developing leaders. I truly agree. She has developed us into the next generation leaders at different levels. She also has a passion for waking up the giant in people. And I hope that your tech giant has been awakened in this meeting and unleashing the potential of young people. Through her annual Hangout with the Stars, a global platform for developing young African leaders, and Tech for Her, a tech awareness or training program for young girls in secondary schools, she has greatly impacted the lives of thousands of girls and young women and men across the world. She is the Nigeria Chair for Intercultural Dialogue with the G100, a group of global female leaders. Hey, Noella, you have decided to challenge the G20. And a non-executive director at the Institute of Export Operations and Management. In 2021, in recognition of her passion for women and the girl child, she was selected to speak to a global audience on gender-based violence and gender-based inequality during the 75th anniversary of the United Nations. The same passion birthed the Growth Conference, a global platform for the development of outstanding female leaders. Noella will give you a standing ovation. Please join me in welcoming the founder of the Growth Conference, Noella Ugu. Thank you so much, Noella. You are most welcome.
Ooh, it's so hot in here, I must say. You know, also yesterday and today, it's been an amazing discourse. I couldn't stop writing, I couldn't stop soaking in, I couldn't stop typing. Thank you, everybody who has answered the call to be part of the growth movement. Like Lydia mentioned, this is not just a conference, it is beyond the conference. It is a movement for developing female leaders and for spotlighting women who are doing amazing things in their spheres, in their different corners. Just like we have spotlighted our special guests. Yesterday we did, today again we did the same thing. Without being biased, really, I would say that the Growth Conference Southern Africa is about the most memorable Growth Conference we have had. Not because of the number of people in the audience, but because of the weight of what has been discussed and what we are going to do next with what has been discussed. In the next few months, in 2025, we are taking the proceeds of the conversations had here to the next level. We are going to work with the proceeds of the Growth Conference Southern Africa. I know we had a lot of tech challenges. At some point,
Technology wants to prove to us that it is a giant, but no. Noella, I can't hear you. Is it just me?
Not only you, I can't hear her too here.
Yeah, we can't hear her.
I know. Yes, we've had a lot of technology challenges yesterday and today, but indeed we are overcomers. We are going to create a solution for such challenges. I know that we can indeed. As we wait for Noella, anybody who would just want to share their experience, what they have learned through today, their take home. Oh, Noella is back already. Thank you so much, Noella. Over to you.
Oh, thank you. Part of the tech challenges that we are talking about, but tech will get better as we keep moving on. So I don't even know the last thing you heard. But what I was saying is that the conversations we've had since yesterday to today, they've been so weighty, they've been so intense that in the next couple of months, anybody who has participated in the Growth Conference and those who are going to participate in the future will see what we are going to do with the proceeds of the Growth Conference Southern Africa. This is about the most remarkable Growth Conference we have had. Like I said, not because of the number of people in the audience, but because of the weight of the discussion and the substance of the discussion and everything we have talked about. When my bio was read, it was mentioned that we have a platform for creating tech awareness among young girls in secondary schools. This is one thing we are going to also take further than where it has been. And thanks to what we have heard here, what we have learned here, I believe that a lot of biases have been broken. And a lot of people have been inspired to understand that there is so much you can do with tech. And you don't need to be a tech guru to operate in the tech space. We have seen those who had a chance to encounter with tech. Some people were just socialized into tech. And some people who got into tech like Philly because they were exposed to the tech ecosystem early on in their lives. So these are some of the things that we want to do. So begin to solve problems using the knowledge and the exposure we have received yesterday and today. Thank you, everybody, for being with us. The Growth Conference is a movement for developing female leaders across the globe. And we have just started. The first Growth Conference was held this year in January. We had 12 speakers from 7 countries. The second Growth Conference was a regional conference, the Growth Conference East Africa. After the Growth Conference East Africa, we moved to the Growth Conference UK. And after the UK Growth Conference, it was India. After India was West Africa, and after West Africa is the Growth Conference South Africa, which ends 2024 for us on a fantastic note. In January, we're going to have the Growth Conference International, which is the Global Growth Conference. It's not a regional conference. It's going to be the Growth Conference International, a Global Growth Conference. The dates will be announced soon in our communities, the 3 communities we have, Delegates 1, Delegates 2, and Delegate 3. If you don't belong to our community, please do well to join our communities. Any of our communities, you don't need to join the 3, because that is where the communities are where we share updates and latest information. Next year again, I'm going to let this cat out of the bag. Go down. We plan to have our first physical growth conference, and we plan to have it in Ghana. So stay tuned as we unfold what we have in the gift box for you to see in 2025. God willing, it's going to be an amazing year for all of us. And in 2025, we also plan to penetrate other regions of the world, the Arab world, North America, South America, North Africa, and Australia as well. Thank you, everybody, for contributing so much. Susan, I can't thank you enough. It's been a very busy period for you. Being the CEO of your organization, I know that end of year is a very tedious moment for CEOs. Annual general meetings, retreats, this, that. But you found the time to put all these together. To our amazing speakers, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And thank you so much. We don't take these things for granted. Thank you for sharing your skills, your talents, your experiences free of charge. And as you have shared, may God replenish you and help you grow even more so that you have more to give the world. Thank you for running with this vision with me and for believing in the vision of the Growth Conference. Thank you, and thank you again. Susan. Susan.
I'm here, Noella. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Please, everybody, can we give some great reactions to Noella just to appreciate her for this vision and for not being so selfish that she is bringing everybody on board. And by the way, the Growth Conference is free. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? This is how deep the vision is to make sure that women can be empowered. Thank you so much, Noella. May God alone replenish you and bless you for the sacrifice. Yes. I know you have a team that you're working with, Sandra and everybody in the background. Oh, you guys, we really appreciate you. Thank you, and thank you, and thank you. So without further ado, please, can we all turn on our cameras so that we can take a group photo and indeed say, I was there at the conference. For some of us, technology has not been friendly, all these but so I'm really looking forward. Please, we need to take the photo. And technology needs to behave. Yeah. So everybody, please make sure that you can actually turn on your video. We should take our photo. Yes, everybody, thank you. Are we ready, Sandra? Please tell us we are ready. Tell us we are okay. Indeed.
Yeah, we're ready to take the pictures now. I'm just waiting for more persons to turn on their video. So if your video is still off, please turn it on so that we can take the pictures. Thank you.
Sure, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, please turn on your video. We should have proof, evidence. I was there at the Growth Conference, Southern Africa. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
All right, say cheese.
Cheers.
Say the Growth Conference.
The Growth Conference.
Amazing. I think we have the pictures now.
Women
Thank you so
Conference.
much for joining.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Are we done?
Thank you.
Are we?
Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate all the research.
Thank you, thank
Yeah.
you,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much. Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
everyone.
Have a lovely
Bye-bye,
evening.
Noella.
Thank
Bye-bye,
you.
Lydia.
Thank you,
Thank
and
you.
bye. Let's
Bye-bye,
keep in touch.
Sandra.
Let's network. Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Susan.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Whew. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you so much, Noella. I know it's been a marathon. Yeah, but thank
Tell
you
you,
so
I've
much.
been between two states. I've been
I
traveling.
know.
Yesterday I was caught up at the airport.
I can imagine.
Oh my goodness. Yes, thank you
Uh-huh.
so much.
Yeah, yesterday you were
We
actually
had
at the airport when you were attending.
yes. You know, after a while,
Oh, wow.
boarding was announced, so I had to board, and that was it. By the time I touched down, the conference was over. So, but thank you so much.
Yeah,
We had
I
a
can
super. Where
imagine.
is Francis? Has he signed up? Has Francis left?
Francis has signed off. He has
Ruth.
signed off.
Oh, we had
Yeah, Ruth, I think Ruth has also
we had an
signed off.
amazing conversation. Thank you,
Really
thank you.
amazing.
This
I
was amazing.
appreciate.
Don't worry, don't worry about all the tech hitches. It's okay. You know, these things happen. Even at UN events, people lose connectivity, so it's not a big deal. That's why it's tech. You know, tech is not
I was
foolproof.
so worried yesterday,
You
you know.
know,
I asked myself, oh, what devil is this I am fighting? You know, it was so heavy. And I always have my cause at home. It's okay. Like yesterday, what is the problem? What has happened? You know? Yeah. But it's
at this
okay.
very important event,
You know, at
because
this
you want
very important event, and you are the host. You are the one who should be there. Yeah, but it's been wonderful.
I can imagine how distressed you were. You know?
I was.
Oh my goodness.
I was very distressed, but I really thank God it went well. Yeah, we didn't have so
It's a
many people,
huge
but